right, with the hurricane season upon us, it is crucial to ensure that our pets are as prepared as we are. Now, here to discuss hurricane preparedness for pets and what's essential for their first aid kit is veterinarian Dr. Jax Hefes. Welcome back to Sunrise, Doc.
Doc, yes.
Hi, morning. Thank you for having me again.
This is very important, and let me jump in quickly because honestly, I wouldn't be thinking about preparedness for pets, you know, and well, you have to raise to the different things that we need to do. I mean, what's the first thing that we need to have in mind when you think about preparedness?
The first thing
for
me, honestly, is am I going to have enough water and am I going to have enough food? Because the same concerns that you have for yourself where you need potable, clean water,
yes,
is the same issues that they're going to have. So making sure you have enough water, not only for you, but for the amount of animals that you have. So remember, depending on their size, they're going to drink various amounts of water. So you're going to make sure you want to have adequate quantities, right? So enough bottled water for yourself, as well as if you have, you know, 3 dogs, 2 dogs, or 1 dog. You want to make sure that you have enough.
And
So
I
food.
noticed yesterday when I just got back water and the water ran dirty for a little while, and I was thinking to myself, oh gosh, I need to check even for the animals, which I didn't think of before because, you know, we don't necessarily, unless it's filtered, drink from the tap. So that's a good point to make. What about things like vaccinations?
So that you actually want to really make sure that they're up to date on their boosters, right? So everyone, in terms of like different clinics and veterinarians will each have their own sort of booster protocol that they work along with. So what I generally advise is that you contact your vet that you've been working along with. You know, you check your vaccine card. You want to make sure that you're up to date so the vet will have, you know, when it's due a booster, right? So you just double check, especially with the leptospirosis vaccine, you know, for areas that are at risk of flooding, right? Because that's stagnant water, contaminated water. And not just that, but if you have your animals outside, so the food, the water, right, that can be exposed. So you really want to make sure you're up to date on your vaccines, because in you taking them back outside to use the potty, right, they can be exposed to the contaminated area. And then when you clean up after them, you're now exposed.
You yourself.
Yep, because remember it's zoonotic, so you can go from animal to animal.
I keep hearing, especially during the hurricane preparedness, people being reminded, especially those who go to shelters, to make sure you bring your evacuation kits. Like what are some of the other essential items that should be in the evacuation kits?
And also I see an emergency kit here as well, like a first aid kit for pets, something I've never thought to do.
So essentially, your first aid kit for pets is going to have along the same lines as your human first aid kit, but instead of like the tiny band-aids, what Chew has been nice enough to do is that you have some cute little vet wraps and pre-cut gauze strips, right, as well as antibiotic ointments, right? So any minor scratches, you know, if you're in the process of bringing them inside and, you know, like a branch scratches them or, you know, a prickle, something happens, right? Or another incident is that fences go down, right, in the process of early winds. And so minor injuries happen. So you want to be able to actually, you know, get that dressed, get that readily dealt with.
Can add like a blue powder to it.
Yep, exactly. So you have your poo bags in there, you have your vet wrap, you have pretty much everything that you can immediately use to stop bleeding. If you realize that their nail has snagged on something, there's a nail clipper.
So you can actually purchase these?
Yeah, so they're for sale, so you can contact Trude directly. You can actually hit up their Instagram page as well.
We'll put it on screen for sure.
And so these are for sale, and so they're readily available, right? Especially with the fact that we have about at least 15 more storms scheduled for the season. So you really want to make sure that you have this on hand before, especially what a lot of people are not thinking about is that money.
Yes, right.
So for you to have your first aid kit and have a box of NexGuard or whatever, you know, preventative measures that you normally have, especially if your dog is on medication, have it put up, have it in a Ziploc bag, right? Have your vet's contact number. So that's what we're talking about. So you have your first aid kit, but your preparedness, your overall kit, will make sure so you have your contact numbers in case of, you know, further emergency. You know, something's not stopping bleeding and I need to call a vet. Can't get to my vet. all right, what are the other emergency clinics that
Got
are
it.
going to be running? What other shelters?
Yeah,
things
you
like
gotta
that.
know your stuff. I love this idea of a first aid kit for animals, and I've never thought of it before, and I think it's a really good one. And you can add to it what you want. But this is really great. Thanks as always for enlightening
Yes.
us about things that we don't normally readily think about
think
for our
about it.
animals.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah,
And
it
it's why I like it, it's that it's actually waterproof.
Yeah.
So you just zip it up.
No, that's
Yeah.
good.
Right, and you can go with it. So
Yeah.
if you actually have to dress outside, you can just go with it.
Take
and,
it, yeah.
Take your umbrella.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being
Yes,
here,
you're
as always. Guys, that was Dr. Jax Hefes here to share with us all about, what is important and what we don't normally think about for our furry friends. Right after the break, it's game time. Copa, Copa, Copa. I'm glad it